Richard, thank you. What have you got, Larry?
Oh, this is the really sad story that we talked a bit about yesterday, agony of E. coli Alfie. This is one of the 3 children who's in hospital after they caught E. coli, having visited this farm in Surrey. It's very poignant, 2 pictures on the front page of today's Sun. The right-hand picture in the blue jumper is him, little Alfie, who's 3, ill, very ill in hospital. And the left-hand picture is him taken at this farm, but not this year, the year before. Right. So there's only 2 in this picture. So it's really a picture story, you know, lovely family snap of little boy with rabbit, followed by little boy in hospital. He continues to progress, is all we can say. There's no real news about how he is.
I think the good news, which isn't being reported, is of the thousands and thousands of people that went to this farm, we're not hearing of any other cases, which I think is good news.
Yeah, very good news. Okay. Obviously, Alfie's parents are very unhappy, mind you. This is a very strange story from today's Daily Telegraph. Accountant claims, wait for it, £40 million for bid to sabotage career. Wow. Now, this is a woman called Michaela Popper, and she's originally Romanian. She's an accountant who began her career at Pricewaterhouse in Budapest, and then she moved to Chicago, and then she moved to London. And she's claiming that she launched a formal claim against PricewaterhouseCoopers, claiming that she was subjected to racist abuse, things like told all Eastern European women are whores, that kind of thing. And she lost that claim. And as a result of that, she left the company, went on to work for 2 other accountancy firms, was made redundant from the first one after 2 years and redundant from the second one after a year. And she says that the references from the original company, Pricewaterhouse, were what caused her new employers to get rid of her.
What, and after 2 years?
Yes, and she also said there was, I don't suppose there would be, there was communication going on between a new company and an old company, gossip or something going on. And so she is suing Pricewaterhouse for the destruction of her career. Although she was only paid 40k, she's saying 40 million is what she wants. Now, what's interesting, Pricewaterhouse absolutely deny her claims. Right. They point out that, yes, they won the former tribunal. They call her a vexatious litigant, which is one of these legal terms for somebody who loves to sue people. She certainly has sued people, and looking at the picture of her in the paper, she certainly likes a camera. She's very comfortable in front of a camera. Interesting to see what happens in this case. It does seem an awful lot of money.
Regardless of the rights and wrongs of the case, I mean, £40 million for a career, it seems a tad excessive.
It does seem a little excessive.
Somebody give you a funny look recently?
Yes,
you could be entitled to compensation.
Yeah. In fact, there may be some advertisers giving that message very shortly. OK, anything else, Larry?
A very good story. Yes, childbirth can make you better at sport.
Oh, that's the question I was wondering.
Well, since most women are told when they have a baby their life is over.
I'm going to win the US Open if I have a baby.
Yes, well, that would be amazing, wouldn't it?
Busy if you had a baby, yeah. But given the advances of medical science.
Who knows? They call it the baby boost. And Paula Radcliffe and golfer Catriona Matthews, who won the British Open, didn't she, 10 weeks after the birth of her child, are examples of what they're saying. What happens apparently? Well, all I would say is, I mean, I would echo what Hardeep said. I think that there is something about the focus you get after having children. I felt hugely strong and optimistic.
Weightlifting, then?
Well, I did it after the first. But anyway, I think it makes you very focused because you have a short period of time in which to go on what you have to get done, and therefore you're very concentrated on it. But what they're saying is there are actually physiological benefits because in the first trimester, the first 3 months of pregnancy, you get 60% more blood in your body. And that increases your aerobic capacity, and that this effect may last for up to 8 months after the birth, which is why sports women, their performance may actually improve after the birth.
OK, that's fascinating.
And the last story, which I know is your favourite story.
Alien sex?
Yes. Yeah. 1 in 5 women has had a sexual encounter with an alien, claims Russian scientist Sergei Speransky. Now, of course, the obvious line is that just the one alien encounter are not you all aliens, but, you know.
It must be, after a few pints, it must be quite difficult to tell for some of you girls. A great
well,
statistic.
you know,
1 in 5.
You come down in your spaceship, off you go, we never hear from you again.
Beam me up, Scotty. Struth. OK, Hardy, what have you got?
Well, as opposed to boldly going where no one has gone before. A curious one, Richard was alluding to the European directives. The fact that people are claiming back holidays lost to illness, which is, if you go off on holiday and you're poorly, you can then say to your employer, actually, I didn't have a holiday because I wasn't well. Now, call me old-fashioned, but I think you sort of take your chances.
Well, do you know what? Because I was actually in this situation last year when my girlfriend was rushed into hospital 2 days before we were supposed to go on a 2-week holiday.
Yes.
And she was in hospital for about a month and off work for 3 months. Now, if you're just ill on holiday and then you come back, you kind of, I think that's, you know, a little bit overly generous. But if you were to be, well, I suppose, is it? I'm just is it fair if you don't actually have the break you think you were going to have and you spend your time in hospital?
Why she can get it back? Otherwise, you'd. I mean, I think otherwise you'd never be there.
Yeah,
so that means
especially
if you're a bit poorly on a Saturday.
Some women do
you know
that.
what I mean?
Some women have their maternity leave and then put their holiday on the end of it.
We lost at Man City. I didn't feel very well on Saturday, so I can
need
have
a
half a
holiday
day off on the Tuesday.
Okay, anything else?
Personally, I mean, as someone that loves food and loves cooking and has loved watching food on television, just devastated to hear about the death of Keith Floyd, really. I mean, a genuine... I mean, I don't know anyone that didn't completely just love him in terms of being mesmerised, but he was a truly one-off, I think, and kind of revolutionised the way television, food television was made. There was an honesty about what he did.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it was warts and all, for sure. I mean, he was...
Booze and all, as well, as I recall.
Booze and
it was
all,
great to watch someone so happy in their work. I mean,
you know, but I think, in a way, when we're kind of suffering to some extent, highly polished, insincere television, as we often do, particularly in the kind of realm of food.
Okay.
It's just, you know, it's lovely to have kind of memories of a man that, you know, influenced the way I cooked, certainly.
There's a great programme on him the other night.
Keith, is it with Keith Allen on Keith on Keith, yeah. From one, well, talking about sweet transvestites, as we were, Eddie Izzard. It's an amazing story. I don't know if you've been across this, but Izzard's been running 43 marathons, a total of 1,100 miles.
But it's 43 marathons in 52 days.
It's bizarre. Now, listen, massive respect to Izzard, massive respect to him, brilliant comedian, fantastic talented actor, and incredibly generous to be doing this. But looking at the photograph of him, if I'd have run 43 marathons, I would have slightly less of a belly than that. So, I don't know what he's eating in the evenings.
I have to say, I just think it's extraordinary of all the people to do it. You'd never have imagined... I wasn't even aware he was doing it until today. He's doing the last bit today, isn't he? I think he's running into Trafalgar Square, his last marathon.
But his feet are torn to shreds and everything, you know. But, I mean, well done. He's done incredibly well. And, you know...
well, one last one for you. Let's have the Rapper's Delight.
The Rapper's Delight. This is brilliant. Churches trying to appeal to the youth. So they've decided to put a rap together, and I'm going to rap it for you. Oh. You might have left for so many reasons, but I am wrong to sense that now's the season. To stop, turn around, walk back. Don't look to make no airs and graces, faked up smiles and masked up faces. No need to make no innovation. Please accept this as your invitation.
It's like wicked, isn't it?
You get me, yeah? You get me. There's a lot of love, guy. A lot of love.
Show me
Come back to JC, yeah? JC wants you, needs you.
Let's get a Hallmark card about it as well.
Yeah, I like it. It's touching. Now, after the break, free heroin for junkies, a trial scheme giving hardened users free drugs has seen crime in that area plunge 85%. Not only that, addicts claim their health and their hopes have improved as well. So, should this scheme go nationwide? 0207 173 5555 is the number for your thoughts. It might make sense on paper, but I'll say again, is it society's job to feed someone's addiction at the health service's expense? We'll find out what you think on the other side of the break.